G'day folks, welcome to this report for Ardennes 44 from midday on the 18th of December to the morning on the 21st of December. So we're looking at 2.5 days of gameplay since my last report. And I'm starting with this view. It's quite zoomed out, so you can see the main positions of German advance. You can see way out on the left, they have only just captured Neufchâteau. The Americans put up a huge fight in Neufchâteau. It lasted for several turns. The Germans tried to bypass it and continue moving on, which was pretty successful. And Neufchâteau just held out and held out. Didn't really slow down the German advance, but it did slow down their ability to block their southern flank. I'll talk about this in a moment. They continued westward along these primary roads through the forest, and I'll zoom in on this sector and then I'll zoom back out again. So they've advanced along these roads. The Americans again put up a lot of little roadblocks throwing 101st Airborne. They managed to move some armour around. There was one point, you can watch this in detail in the playthrough videos on, it was the 20th of December, where they were just throwing trucked units and strategic movements into the way. Now there's limitations on where they can end their movement, but basically they were blocking these key roads and hoping they weren't destroyed by the Germans. And for the most part, it worked. It slowed the Germans down. They suffered DR3, DR4 results, but they slowed the Germans down. At several points, the Germans had a clear road to the Meuse, and the rushing of these reinforcements stopped them. The problems are now just that the Germans have cleared through the clear terrain here. There's another series of sort of forested roads that they'll struggle to get through. When I say forested roads, I mean sort of primary roads through forest, not the forest road. There's a big there are big gaps in the Allied lines, but more and more reinforcements are coming on. So whilst I'm over here, I'll point out that the 4th Armoured have just arrived through entry area C. They've smashed their way on. The Germans did have some defenders here, but they've smashed their way onto the map and are just outside Neufchâtel. They just didn't arrive in time to save the town, but they are quite strong. They've got 16 attack factors here, another 9 down here. That said, the Germans have got the 9th SS Panzer Division in the vicinity, and they go first. So they'll be able to relocate down here if they choose to. A lot of other units, Panzer is out here. They do have 3 artillery pieces in the vicinity, so good on defence if they need to, and some Panzer units down here as well. So a lot of advances out here. It's always a struggle in the centre, in this area. Things are going pretty well for the Germans, but they've mostly been holding in this position as they've prioritised that southern drive and a separate northern drive. So things here have been relatively quiet. You can see they've pushed right up to the outskirts of Rochefort and various elements of the 12th SS Panzer Division, 116th Panzer, a hodgepodge of units that are just sort of filling that gap, not really attacking in this area. The main attacks have been happening out in the north here with 1st and 12th SS Panzer divisions. They broke through, they've crossed the Ourthe River here. There are some pockets of isolated American defenders which are really problematic. It's so much easier to eliminate them. And they have pushed up to the Meuse. You can see here in Sarang they have 8 attack factors alongside the Meuse, and they can easily reach several of these bridges on their next turn. A lot of this comes down to supply rolls. They are making rolls for supply every turn. This turn it was the 12th SS. It was a unit west of the Ourthe, and the Americans chose the 12th SS. But yeah, look, they're up to the Meuse. The challenge is crossing the Meuse, and that, look, the Americans have just been able to throw defenders along the bridges. And now the British are starting to arrive, and they just position themselves against the bridges, and it's tough to get across. So, look, big gaps in the centre here, big gaps, but the Germans, this is actually German replacement, but the Germans are, their challenge now is getting their flanks to keep up. We do have infantry, so there's German infantry all the way up here, right on the Ourthe River. They've been moving quite rapidly, protecting their flanks. You can see them around here, Verviers, a lot of infantry there. This is the 3rd Fallschirmjäger, have moved right up. Various elements, the 18th Volksgrenadier Division, a lot of infantry able to protect their flanks up to almost Liège, which is freeing a lot of these more mobile mechanised divisions to move on to the west. What's frustrating, as I said, is these pockets of American resistance. 2nd SS still making their way to the front. They have suffered so many fuel shortage rolls. It's really frustrating, but they are almost there, and they'll be able to assist once they get there. Probably this turn, fuel rolls going well. They'll be able to help the 1st SS and the 12th SS Panzer driving through this clear area here. You can see this terrain here. It's very clear. It's very easy for the Germans to move through here. So they're trying to, their strategy out here in the north, their northern drive, is probably more important because it's closer to the Meuse. They just need to find a bridge. And you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. There are bridges there. And they can very nearly reach them. Every time, though, they crack a gap in the Allied lines, more Allied reinforcements arrive. And I can tell you on this turn, we've got the 80th Infantry Division, we've got more 3rd Armour, 26th Infantry Division. They're coming in from the south, but it's really going to threaten the German position here. Nothing really coming on in the north until the PM turn, when some of the 75th Division arrives. So the Germans are hoping, look, every turn it's like push the Americans back, hope they can break through. American reinforcements arrive, plug some holes in that line. In terms of losses, this is the Allied eliminated units. There are a lot. Decent number of German eliminated units as well, but the Americans have certainly taken the brunt of those losses. So in terms of the overall situation, the German flank is secure all the way through here. They've almost reached the map edge down here. They were threatening Eupen until reinforcements arrived recently. Verviers is close to being captured. There's a single 2 defence tank unit there. That might fall this turn. There's more Germans arriving. They do have artillery in the vicinity here. They are close to getting across this Vesdre River. A couple of blown bridges. They are across it down here in Verviers, in fact, so they can sweep up these Americans. Tough defences. 1st Infantry Division, very strong defences here. But then, as I said, in the centre, 12th SS, 1st SS, 2nd SS Panzer Divisions with a lot of strength. There are very few, if any, losses among them. In fact, so a lot of German strength moving up through this area. So I should point out they don't need to cross the Meuse. If they can capture 6 VP hexes west of the Ourthe River here, that's enough for victory. And they've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they only need 2 more, and Marche and Femme and Rochefort, these 2 would give them victory. Ciney up here, look at this. This is very weakly defended by a single 2 defense strength unit. And Ardennes, which is across the bridge, undefended at the moment. Some Americans in the way, or they could rush up to Dinant. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can strategic move up to Dinant. It could be over in this coming day. And the Americans, there's also some victory point locations over here. So look, it's tense and close. Saint Hubert as well. They may just be 1 victory point away, 1 city, 1 victory point location away. Rochefort and or Marche and Femmen. And the problem is, as I said, that was the weak the weak area of their lines. Yes, it is very close. All right, folks. So that is the situation. As I said at the beginning of the 21st of December. Sorry, the beginning of the 22nd of December. So it's actually been 3.5 days. My apologies. And look, I think situation is favouring the Germans, but you never quite know what the Americans are to do. Thanks everyone for watching, and take care.